want to resolve conflicts that you have with your spouse or conflicts that you have within your family? If you do, let's talk about it, okay? But you may want to get yourself a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil to write down some important points that I'm going to go over, okay, with you throughout this video, okay? It's for your own consideration, and it's for something for you to work on after this video. Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. There are conflicts everywhere. The people are disagreeing everywhere, and we always have argument, we have fight. So conflicts are pretty much the same. So the way to resolve a conflict is very similar. Okay, based on Buddha's teaching, the way that we approach how to resolve a conflict, we have some points that we have to go over, okay, so that then we can understand how we can resolve a conflict. Now, of course, not all conflicts can be resolved, but at least if we try to resolve a conflict, it will lessen the severity of that conflict. Okay, it at least should bring it down to a certain agreeable level instead of having a high emotion. Okay, so conflicts is conflicts. First of all, if we want to resolve a conflict, we have to ask ourselves, okay, some question, and those are very important questions that we need to ask ourselves. Okay, right now I'm gonna just concentrate on family conflicts. Okay, conflicts between husband and wife, or someone very close. All right, someone very close. So let's say family, okay, family members and all that. So let's say you have issue with your spouse, okay, with your significant other. All right, especially that what I want to really stress on is if you have a family, right, which means that you have husband or wife and you also have children in your family, and now you have disagreement with your spouse, and this conflicts that you have, the disagreement that you have, the fights that you have been having with your spouse has been going on for quite some time now, okay, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's not going in the right direction, right? So that creates a lot of stress, that creates a lot of pressure for you, and of course for the whole family, for kids included. All right, so when you have a fight, when you have conflicts in your family, everyone feels it, not just you or your spouse. So how do we go about resolving the differences in our relationship? Okay, and these are very hard questions, all right, that you have to sit down and figure out for yourself, or and also later on that if possible you can sit down and talk it with your partner. But first of all, it's about yourself, about you. Okay, so you have some question to ask yourself. Question number one, okay, Do you really want to resolve this conflict? Okay, this is a question number one that you want to ask yourself. Or you rather keep going with whatever that has been going on. Okay, are you gonna approach the your partner or the family in pretty much the same way, the same manner, the same attitude? Okay, so that is question number one. So let me repeat it. If you want, do you really want to resolve this issue that you have been having? Okay, or would you rather keep going and doing the same thing as the day before, the week before? Okay, and having argument, having fight, having all kinds of stressful moment in your family? What is the answer to that question? That question, and there's only you that can answer that question. Okay, first of all, that is number one question that you have to ask yourself. Do I want to keep going like this with my family, or do I want to resolve this to somehow find a solution into this conflict? Okay, that is question number one. So if the answer is yes, okay, if the answer is yes, then we go on to question number two. All right, if you're still not sure, okay, you're still not sure, you can go on. But if you rather not want to find out a solution, then there's nobody else can do it for you. Okay, and there is no solution if you don't want to find a solution. So it has to start with you. All right, again, in Buddha's teaching, a lot of things goes back to you. Look back inside. So this is how we approach it. Okay, so number one, you have to say to yourself that yes, I want to resolve this conflict that I've been having with my spouse. This the relationship is not working and it's not heading in the right direction. If it keeps going like this, it's only going to get worse and the family can break up. Okay, and when the family break up, there's all kinds of heartache and headache. It involves financial difficulties, and more importantly, it involves children. Children are the ones, especially if they're small, are the ones who get hurt the most. They get hurt more than you, whether you know it or not. All right, so if you want to resolve it, okay, you want to work it, you want to work on it, you want to work with it to find a solution, that's fine, that's good. We go to next step. Okay, the next step is this. Does it matter to you, okay, who's right or who is wrong in this conflict? Okay, so first you want to resolve it. All right, so at least now one step at a time. Step number two, does it matter who is right or who is wrong? Okay, and that is very important also. Okay, because that dictates your attitude toward how you want to resolve this issue. Okay, if you maintaining that someone has to be right, someone has to be wrong, okay, there is no answer either. Okay, because the attitude toward finding a solution is not there. Okay, so in order to find a solution, there has to be a compromise attitude in a way. Okay, an attitude that is willing to compromise, to listen, to come up with some kind of solution. So if you can put aside who's right or who's wrong, okay, if you can put aside who's right, who's wrong, it doesn't matter anymore or who's right, then you can continue. Okay, because Why? How important is it who is right and who is wrong? See, that's question number 3. Okay, is it the relationship that you have with that person? Is it the family that you have? How important is it to you being right compared to do the two? Okay, sit back, think. How important is it? Would you rather be right and have the family break up? Okay, end up with a divorce, with a breakup family? Would you rather be right and have that family, or would you rather be willing to, to work things out and have a family together? That is only you that can who can answer it. Okay, it's only you. But if you are willing to work on the situation to find a solution, and if you can say, all right, I'm gonna put aside who is right or who is wrong, that is not as important as the well-being of my family being together. If you think that having a family, if you think that staying in a relationship uh, together is more important than you are being right, then that's a approach that you can continue to find um, a solution. Okay, so you have to be willing to accept all of these different steps. All right, first of all, you said, okay, yes, I don't want to have this fight anymore. All right, I want to solve this problem. I don't want to have his headache, his heartache anymore. I want to solve this problem. Okay, and then now you say, all right, so because I want to solve this problem, it doesn't matter to me anymore who is right or who is wrong. Okay, because what is important to me, okay, to you, of course, is that how you value that relationship. If that relationship is more important than for you than you being right, then you want to keep the relationship, right? But if you want to keep that relationship, you want to build it. You don't want to destroy it, right? So if you want to build it and you don't want to destroy it, then you step back and say, okay, let me work on this. Okay, there's two ways that you can do, whether you want to work on this or you want to, or you just, nope, I don't want this relationship. So that is your choice. Okay, because as you know, as you all know, we have two hands, right? Conflict requires at least two parties, right? The two hands to make the noise. If there's one hand, you cannot make the noise. Okay, so in order to have conflicts, minimum you have two, right? If one go like this and one back down, there's no noise. Correct? Yeah, there's no noise. So if one back away, there's no conflict. Okay, the other one can keep trying, but if you back away because you see something more important, okay, in the relationship, then you rather stay, and then there's no conflict. There's no sound. There's no sound. All right, it's only one side. So how does that work? For example, I have a little story I heard from, I believe, I'm not sure who I heard the story from. The story of a couple walking in a park. All right. So as the young couple walk on the road in a park, and they heard the sound from behind the bush. Okay, and the sound of the sound of the animal go quack quack, right? The sound of that animal go quack 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 quack, right? So the the woman look up to the husband. Okay, the wife look up to the husband and say, "Wow, you hear that? you hear the chicken, you hear the sound of the chicken. The husband looked at the wife and said, no, that's not the chicken sound, that's a duck. That's the sound of a duck, of a duck. And the wife said, no, that's the sound of the chicken. And then the sound come up again behind the bush. Quack, 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 quack. And then the wife said, see, you hear that? See? Can you hear that? That is the sound of a chicken, of the chicken. The husband, no. Are you serious? That is that is a duck. Okay, that is a duck. Now the wife is temperature is raised a little bit. She has a little bit red face. That's that's a chicken. That's not a duck. Now her voice is raised a little bit. And husband said, "Come on, honey, that is a chicken. That is a duck. That's not chicken." And then the wife looked up and said, "Okay, let's go check it out." And then as they continue walking, and the ducks walk out from behind the bush. Okay, from behind the bush, and he just they just cross the road, go quack 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 quack, right? They go crossing the road. Okay, and then the wife said, "See, those are chicken." Now at that point, the husband wise up. Okay, then he starts smiling. Okay, honey, those are chicken. You see, that is how you solve the problem. Okay, if you want to be right, then you're gonna have issue. Okay, if you want to be right, if you keep insisting that the other party is wrong, then you're gonna have issue. Okay, so that is an important key to resolving a conflict. Right, stop trying to be right. Try to see a bigger picture of your relationship. Okay, try to see a bigger of value, a bigger you know more important things in life than just uh, trying to be right. Okay, instead you have to understand. Okay, you have to learn to understand the other person. All right, learn to listen. Okay, so another word, the next the next step that you need to do is having respect for each other. Instead of raising your voice and try to express your opinion and try to be right, okay, that like this, like that, that's not how you solve a problem. Okay, that's not how you resolve a conflict. You keep cool, you keep calm. Okay, don't try to be right. Okay, because you know you value your relationship more than being right. All right, you value your relationship more than being right. You value the togetherness of your family more than you are being right. Okay, that is the important point that you have to keep in your mind. What is important? Is it you being right, or the value of being together of your family, or the value of being together with your spouse? Which one is more important? Okay, so you balance it out. Which one is more important? Okay, so the approach to resolving a conflict is very important. If you approach it with somebody that I'm right, okay, I'm very sure, okay, you already approach with a wall that nobody can penetrate. Okay, that you're already right. Doesn't matter what it is, you're already right. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but If you approach with some kind of power, okay, some kind of a macho attitude, or with some kind of authority, if let's say if you have a fight with a conflict with your child, with your children, and you approach your child, your son, your daughter with an authority, with some kind of power, you already built a wall. You cannot hear anything from your other from the other direction. You cannot hear. So there's no result. There's no way to find a solution because you already block yourself off. Okay, because the attitude that you use, that you do to approach the situation is very important. If your attitude toward resolving the conflict is, what is important? Do I want to be right, or I rather keep this family together? Okay, what is important? If I want to keep this family together, okay, I rather be okay, whatever, but I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna find a different way of approach instead of going with a big wall. Okay, that is the different way to approach a conflict, approach a situation, because you want to find a way out. You want to find uh, a happy ending. You want to find a togetherness because you give value to being together than being right and then separate. Okay, you give value, the more important value to being right together, to being together as a family. That is your value. So if that is your value, you rather not be right. Okay, you rather step back. When you step back, there's no sound, right? There's no sound. Okay, so that's important. Okay, your attitude toward the conflict, how to resolve it, right? And so when that happens, when you, one important thing that a lot of people do when they have a fight, when they have some kind of argument, some kind of conflict, right? Many people, right, they tend to bring up past issue into today, into the problem right now. Whatever that happened in the past, last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago, it doesn't matter. They bring everything into the mix, right? Create even more, bubble, more emotion. Okay, don't do that. Okay, keep in mind. Do not bring anything from the past. What happened right now? Let's just resolve, work on what we have right now. Okay, work on what we have right now. So very important. You have to learn to listen. Okay, you have to learn to listen to the other side. Okay, where the other side is coming from. Okay, whether he or she is right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you are right or you are wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether she or he is right or wrong. It doesn't matter. What matters to you is being together. The togetherness of you and your spouse, you and your children, you and your family. That is the what is important to you. Okay, the togetherness, the when you see your children together, growing up with you, with your spouse, you know, together, the togetherness. If that is important to you, then you want to resolve it. The issue that you have a little bit here and there here, right? So what it means is this: you have to learn to accept your partner. You have to learn to accept the other side. Okay, if you are always right and the other side you always wrong, there's not gonna be any resolution between the two of you. Okay, whether it's between you and your spouse or your children or your parents or whoever. If there is no understanding, if there is no acceptance of who the person is, and you sit down, you calm down your attitude, your approach to it, to the situation. If there is no doing that, there is no resolution, there is no peace, because your attitude toward the conflict is already, it's already done. You already make up your mind. All right. So remember that the important thing is, don't try to be a winner, but try to be somebody who can answer to the situation, who can face the situation and rise above the situation, instead of fighting and breaking and destroying a relationship. Because we all are human. We, from one time to another, we tend to have conflicts. Okay, there's no escape. There's no escape. When we are as human, we always have conflicts. Okay, because we as human, we have our own experience, they have their own experience, we have our own ideas, they have their own idea. Okay, and when opinions don't agree, one thing leads to another, and then like this, anger arises. Okay, and as we all know, we learn about in Buddhist teaching, whatever in here, anger arises, right? And when anger arises, it leads to all kinds of stuff, right? Your emotion that bubble up. Okay, so there are many times there's question. Okay, of course. Okay, the reason, of course, when we have conflict is because you maintain that whatever you maintain is right, right? You always think of yourself being right, and the other person, of course, is wrong. Okay, so the reason that we have conflicts most of the time is that we try to change the other person's uh, perspective. We try to change the other person's understanding of whatever the problem is that you are arguing about. You try to change that person. Okay, you try to make that person understand you. Okay, instead of you listening to what the other person have to say, you try to change that person. Say, why don't you understand this? What is wrong with you? Right? Why can't I get through to you? Why can't you understand? You see the approach. The approach is with a wall like this, that you're not receiving. You're only going one direction. There's no communication. All right, there's no communication. You're trying to make the other person see the way you see things. Okay, when the other person don't see things the way you do, you get upset, you get mad. Okay, so there has to be a time that you go, okay, you gotta pull back. You gotta pull back. Don't try to change the other person. All right. So a lot of time, many times, of course, people, when you first married, for married couple, when you first married, when you first met, you are so in love, right? Oh, you are the only one, right? Until death do us part. Remember? Okay. Through sickness and all kinds of stuff, we're gonna live together. And then, boom. Okay. Where did the oath go? Okay. So you gotta go back and listen to that, right? Where did the oath go? When you first get together, okay, love at the first year, 2 year or something, it's good, right? Nice and smooth and sweet. But then, personalities, people have different personalities, and you discover that the other person have um, certain personalities that you don't really like. But now you're already together, you're kind of stuck in a way, right? You have, oh man, what did I get myself into, right? A lot of questions come up like that. Well, you didn't get yourself into anything. It's people are like that, okay? They have their own background, they have their own experience. But we can always look at people by accepting people, okay? Even though people have different ideas and different opinion from you, it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, okay? It's just opinion. They have their way of doing things, you have your way of doing things, right? You are brought up in the family, you know, you are being groomed by your parents, and so did your partner, and also her situation where he or she grew up, okay, and she or he is was being groomed in a different way, so have different thinking. Now when you first met, you see the goodness of each other, but you don't see the other part, right? You don't see the other part of the person. So that's one good thing, that during dating time, you should spend a little more time to get to know the little quirkiness, whether you can accept the person or not. Because once you tie the knot, you should learn how to accept each other, understand each other, and try not to be right. Okay, just understand, and the your attitude toward things is very important. If the relationship is important to you, okay, so it comes down to how you value the relationship, how do you value your family, okay? If you have it, you put it at a high value, then bring down your attitude, bring down your ego, okay, put it aside and say, okay, let me find out and listen. So let's say for example that your partner is totally wrong, but right now you cannot get through to her or him, right? Don't try, don't even try, let it go, okay? And then you have to, this is the art of, or the skill, or the art of talking, the art of explaining or getting things through without using anger, without using force, okay? You have to let the situation calm down, let it go for a while, okay? And when time comes when you think, okay, maybe we can touch on the subject a little bit, and you try a little bit, say, hey honey, the other day, you know, when we were talking about this, right? What do you think? Instead of imposing, instead of trying to push your idea on top of your partner, you suggest, you give question, okay? You give question, you give or some kind of a show or experiment that can let the other person, let the other person figure out for himself or herself. It's the best way to do, is let them figure out for themselves whether he or she what she think, what she thought before, or you know, or what he thought before was um, the the proper way of thinking or not. Let them figure out themselves, but you can give them some kind of example, some kind of question, some kind, but you have to approach a situation without attitude. Your attitude is very important, okay? Put away your ego, put away that you are a bigger person. No, you put down your attitude. That's what a bigger person is. You put down your attitude. You don't go as, you know, like a power thing, and that is, you know, that is not the right way. Put away your ego, your attitude, and you approach the situation, okay, with the with the idea in the back of your mind that you value that person more than to having an argument. You value the peace of mind of you and your partner. You rather see your partner smile than having a face like this, right? That is your value. If you value that kind of atmosphere, put down your ego. Okay, step back. If it comes like this, you step back. Okay, just sit down. You see, this is Buddha's teaching. The Buddha said, "Be calm." Okay, be calm. Be nice. Approach things with love, kindness, empathy, compassion. You see, that's how the Buddha teach. The Buddha don't teach you to approach things with ego, okay, with power, with authority, with I'm right. No, that's not the right way to do it. The Buddha said empathy, loving kindness, compassion, because you value the peace of mind within you and the peace of mind within your significant other. Okay, so if you can do that, then most likely most of would be 90% or plus of the problem would be solved. Okay, so remember what is important to you. Okay, what has the more important value? Is it the relationship? Okay, togetherness with your significant other, with your family, with your children? Okay, what is more important, or is it being right more important? Okay, so that is what you have to keep in mind, right? So that's what I like to share with you today. And last but not least, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma, and I like to pay respect to the Sangha. And of course, if you have any comment, any suggestion or anything, you know, leave your comments below, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Until next time, namaste.